Barb, what's wrong?
What's wrong, Bob? I've been trying to manage this whole RV repair process and I thought I had it done, but it's all messed up because they don't know how to communicate.
All right, this video is something we didn't think we were going to have to do until the camper was actually in the shop getting done. It has been an absolute horror story. We just want to share our thoughts with you on what has been going on the last couple weeks with this boondoggle of a repair.
So we'll start out with what's been good. I have been talking to Ron Hoover. I've been talking to Riverstone. I talked to Morride. I've been trying to create this circle, having them run through me. So I was able to get everything we needed from Morride, who's awesome as always. They were first in, and Riverstone, Forest River, to Ron Hoover. So I was super excited. And then they said, we have a problem. And that's where it began.
Yep. From the very beginning of this accident, we knew that the wheel would be the biggest problem, getting that wheel rim. The tire was not an issue. We already ordered a tire. We already have that in.
Yep.
The wheel, because Forest River buys those rims from an outside vendor, which is Lion's Head, and they're in Goshen, Indiana. I guess a couple locations. These wheels are made, put on a shelf, and they wait for POs to show up for these campers for the frames to get these wheels installed. Well, knowing our camper is now coming on 2 years old, we just wanted to make sure and get involved in that. Well, it has been the biggest problem trying to get this wheel. The wheel was on the shelf.
Yep.
Lion's Head does not sell to individuals. They don't even sell to dealers. We found that out. That's been a whole debacle because Forest River told us Ron Hoover could order it. Well,
A month ago.
Yeah, a month ago. So we've been in contact with Lion's Head, which they've been super on the phone.
Yeah, they've been great.
But they can't sell to us. But we found out that Riverstone has to create a purchase order to get this thing sent. These wheels are available outside of Forest River at different manufacturers like E-Trailer, but none in stock.
Nope.
They don't have this wheel in stock because it's 2 years old now. It's already an old camper, I guess. But it has been the biggest problem trying to get this wheel with Forest River and Ron Hoover. And finally, we basically not threatened them, but we finally said, we'll purchase the daggone wheel ourselves, get it sent out. So we're hoping that it's next day air to the Ron Hoover dealer to get it so they can get the rest of the parts together to get this camper in and get it fixed.
And we are actually paying for it ourselves to have it overnighted. I talked to Riverstone, Forest River, actually cried because I was so devastated to find, this out. And knowing that originally they said it would take 4 to 6 weeks to get the rim from one little part in Indiana to another part in Indiana.
Yeah.
So by crying and being upset and being honest with them, we found out that the person that orders for them is missing. Nobody knows, I guess, where they are or what's going on. So nobody's ordering anything. So the person in charge figured out what they needed to do to get this ordered for us. And the company Lion's Head is actually driving it over to them, and then they are going to overnight it at a cost to us. Now, Progressive is good. They're going to reimburse us for the overnight cost.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if we're paying for the rim. If they are, they'll reimburse us, or if it comes out of Ron Hoover's bill, then they'll reimburse them. That's all a big confusion also.
Yeah.
But once we got that settled, Bob and I were on top of the world, right? We felt like, angels were singing. It's great. And then,
since we've been in the middle of this whole process, we're getting the email flow. So we found out that Ron Hoover all of a sudden forgot that the bracket that holds the landing gear was not ordered. And we found that out from Riverstone.
Yeah, and let me tell you how it went down. We're happy. Angels are singing, right? We get an email from Ron Hoover saying, we don't have this part from Riverstone, so it's going to hold everything up.
Yeah.
So we call Riverstone back on the phone, and they're like, oh yeah, we just got this order last night after I left.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So then I call Ron Hoover back, and they were like, oh yeah, the girl who does the parts ordering forgot to order it a month ago.
Yeah, so Yeah, it's so my gosh, it's all. I mean, all the horror stories you hear about people trying to get their campers fixed. I mean, just normal repairs, and then with this accident, it is just crazy. I mean, we're having to explain to our insurance company yesterday why we buy the tire, why are we buying the rim, and I said, you don't understand. These companies don't talk to each other,
No.
and if you have an issue with your RV and you don't get involved, it will never get resolved.
No.
That's why you will hear people to say they're waiting 6 months for this and that. I'm telling you, if you don't get involved in managing even the email flow between all these different companies, it's a debacle. I mean, it's not like you got a Ford or a Chevy or a Dodge. You take it in the dealer, Chevy, Ford, or Dodge, they got the parts or they know who to order them from. Nobody talks to each other.
No.
I mean, we got Riverstone doesn't talk to Lions Head. Lions Head don't talk to Forest River. Forest River don't talk to Ron Hoover. Ron Hoover doesn't talk. They talk about each other to us that they don't talk to each other. A second, you guys see the same emails we see.
Yeah.
Daggone, read them. You know, I mean,
Well,
it is just.
We got asked by one of the vendors yesterday, why am I always talking to you and not the vendor? I said, because you email him, he doesn't respond. He emails you, you don't respond. You email them, they don't respond. I'm the one in the middle going, hey, I saw this note, what's happening? Hey, I saw this note, what's happening? And even though we're upset about this, we are actually very blessed because it's been record, even though it was a nightmare till I got involved because we let things go for a week and we shouldn't have. It's been record time getting everything in except for the stupid part that they forgot, which is the mounting bracket that you need for the jack, which is important.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame Ron Hoover because they want all the parts in hand before they start the process because they got to get, once they get the parts installed, which he said it's only going to be a day to get that stuff done, but then they need a couple, 2-3 days for the painting because those two panels that are damaged got like 4 different colors in them, so it's not something you can just spray paint in a couple hours and be done with it. So it has to be striped and clear coated and all that stuff. So
and we wanted to make sure it looks good. It doesn't look like Jacofied or anything like that.
Jacofied.
Jacofied means it's hillbilly-fied. That's where we come from in Indiana.
We just want to make sure it looks like
good.
it did when we got it from the factory, which we don't think there's going to be an issue with that. But we are just trying to, and like we said from the beginning, this is not a video we were going to try to do, but it is. I mean, you can just knock your head against the wall because 1 second you're up in the air because you think the parts are all coming. The next second you're getting email saying stuff got forgotten or the rim, we can't get the rim because Lion's Head won't sell to nobody except for Forest River. And I mean, it's
2 weeks go by before Ron Hoover says, oh, I can't really get the rim because they won't sell to me. What do you mean they won't sell to you? Everybody told me this was in the process.
I mean
oh, sorry.
No, I mean,
we're both like,
yeah, I know. They sell these rims to other vendors. I mean, and we searched the country trying to find a rim, trying to see if we could find this particular aluminum wheel, and it's just not out there. And man, oh man, I just want to scream the high heavens.
I mean, the plan is hopefully not to do another update till it's finished and we can say how gorgeous and beautiful it is. But our takeaway from this is that you got to be involved when stuff happens. It's easy to let it go and say, it's going to happen. And people do. They let it go and it does happen, but it could be 6 months to a year down the road. I ain't got time for that, remember? I'm trying to get the Galveston by March 1st and it's still going to happen.
Yeah, we're... I mean, especially when you're a full-timer. I mean, not that we don't like Rockport, but...
I don't like it here anymore.
Yeah.
I want to leave.
Yeah, we're ready to leave, and we're ready to get this camper in and get its, if it takes them 4 or 5 days or whatever to get fixed, we're hoping next week that will happen once these couple other parts come together. And we even told the dealer, if the rim don't show up, we don't care. I got the spare tire on there. I would like to have a spare tire going that road, but
we can get that down the road.
Once that shows up, I can drive and get it, or you can mail it to me, or whatever has to happen. But right now, we want to get the parts we need that are the safety items. Getting the landing gear and getting the landing gear mount and all that welded in.
Look, we have the landing gear.
And get the body. I don't even care if it gets painted at this point. I just want to get the panels put on. I mean, I could paint it myself if I have to, but my gosh, I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, I don't know.
I will say thank you to all of you. You have been 300% amazing in supporting us and encouraging us and making us feel good and better. And this is a way for us to let it go also, because we were so happy yesterday and all we wanted to do was just do a little bit of laundry.
Yeah.
And then it was like...
We wanted to make a video yesterday, but it probably been a bunch of 4-letter words, because at that point we were so upset that these parties do not talk to each other. So
yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I worked in the corporate world, and I worked in the corporate world at the time that they had so much money, they were wasteful. Then all of a sudden they started downsizing everything, and it went from 100 people in the department to 27 to 4 or whatever. And I did, I don't know how many jobs I worked, I don't know how many hours. I was always so meticulous in my work. Not, like if I had been there, I would have made sure that part would have been ordered. I would have gone through the list. I am just funny about that, about wanting to make sure that I do the best job possible. And I'm tired of hearing about COVID, and I'm tired of hearing about lack of workers, because it wasn't any different in the downsizing, okay? I mean, I know it's a different time and people may get mad that I'm saying this, but the people that are working, the majority of them are really good, okay? But there's so many out there that I don't know if they can't get money from the government or whatever it is, so they have to work and they are unhappy and bleh. I mean, in order to get what we want, I had to cry, I had to blow up people's egos, and I had to offer them whiskey. So there you go. That's my tale for today.
And a tale it is.
So like, subscribe, smash up that notification bell, comment.
Thomas, give us your war stories, because I know they're out there. I mean, whether it's service or for an accident repair, it is when you're dealing with these vendors and how these campers are made by hundreds of vendors involved, it is just incredibly stupid. I mean,
we're just being honest.
With being nice. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It just makes me want to scream. The highs and the lows are incredible. But definitely, if you got an issue, you better take the bull by the horns, and run with it, because if you're leaving it up to one person or a dealer or a manufacturer, it's probably not going to happen on any kind of timely manner.
So with that said, on a happy note, remember, subscribe to us.
Yep.
Because you never know what's going to be happening to us. We're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our incredible world.
Bye.